I hope everyone had a good week. This is officially my second video, and I'm really excited because I've had a lot of ideas coming up. Yeah, so if you watched my last video, I'll link it at the bottom. It's basically about me and how I overcame my mentality in victimization. And I'll be so for real, that was so hard for me to post because truly for a long time I did care about what others thought. That was huge for me, like the perception of others. And that isn't a part of me anymore, thankfully. But for a long time, it took years for me to come out of that. And it's not an easy thing because we're just so programmed to care about what others think, or what if I do something to offend someone? What if I say the wrong thing? And what I've learned is you're always going to say the wrong thing to somebody. Like, you're always going to say the wrong thing. It doesn't matter. People will either perceive you the way that it's the way they look at things. So like, they'll either perceive you in a good way based off the way they have lived or the things they have learned, or they will perceive you in a negative light based off the things they have lived and observed, right? And I just thought, man, you're like one decision away from changing your life. One decision. And I was just like, I want to make freaking videos. Like, that's what I'm gonna do because that makes me feel good. And truly, 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 I feel like I've learned so much in the time that I've lived, where I have taken the time to really take accountability and heal, and just focusing on looking within and just being like, at the end of the day, however people see me, it doesn't really matter, because I'm proud of myself for taking like the time to really fix myself. Because I feel like that was just such a difficult thing to go from people have hurt me to, hey, I'm not perfect. What am I doing here? So I just wanted to talk in this video about some things I did, my coping mechanisms, what I used to do and how I fixed it. And we're gonna talk about different things. So when I was younger, I used to have friends. I used to make a lot of friends, and the thing with trying to just always be the nice guy or not, I don't know, maybe you guys agree with me, but I used to hate confrontation, because whenever I confronted someone about something, I was like, it's gonna end bad. And I don't like people looking at me in a bad light, so I'm not gonna start something, right? And to me, even if it was speaking up about, let's pretend like someone wanted to go out with me and they were like, hey Sandra, like, I want you to come with me to this party. And I was like, but I'm not a party person. But if I don't say yes, they're going to hate me and not be my friend anymore. And so what's crazy is I would do it anyways. I would go and do it anyways, even if it was against my values and what my beliefs, right? So, and also FOMO. Like, I used to always think, oh my God, if I don't go out with these people who I care about, I'm gonna miss out. I'm gonna miss out on something that's going to change my life. This moment is going to change my life. This one day that I go out is going to change my life so badly that I have to go. And that's what happens when you're stuck in that mindset of, like I said in the last video, You guys can go watch it. But stuck in that mindset of just a really just external validation type mindset. You just want people to accept you. I want to be accepted so badly that I'm going to go against my own values and just do whatever they want because I'm not my own person. And so a lot of the things that I would do were against my values, and I truly learned that I was in that moment when I was saying yes to these people, I wasn't respecting myself. I was disrespecting myself so badly. And I wasn't loving myself. I wasn't coming from a loving place and saying, you know what, I really love my own company. I actually don't like surrounding myself with people who go out too much. I don't like the party scene. Did I like it sometimes? Heck yeah. There were moments in my life where I truly did like that scene, and with time I changed. I remember at some point in my life, one of my closest friends got upset with me because I used to fall asleep while we were out at like 2 a.m. and she got like really upset with me. At the time I was really tired, and I think her reasoning was like that she felt like when I went out with other people, I was posting and I was awake, but like I would go to sleep when I was around her. And I guess I came to realize that was definitely my body shutting down. I didn't feel safe around whoever I was with at the time, and my body used to cope by falling asleep. And when I was safe around different people, I had energy. And if you know anything about like having a low social battery and having a high social battery, I really do believe that it has to do with the way your body feels safe around other people. And at the time, I didn't recognize that my body didn't feel safe. So I would just fall asleep, and she would get really upset with me, and it was never intentional. Like, I think we were just not meant to be as close as we were, because we were into different things and we were into different kind of people, and like we were just, it's unfortunate because at the time we had a lot of love for each other as friends, but things happen, right? And not everyone is going to be able to be your cup of tea exactly how you're supposed to be, and a lot of people choose to accept others, and that's amazing. But I have gotten to a place in my life where I do accept people, but not to the detriment of my peace or my overstepping like my boundaries or my values. If I feel like our values don't align, I'm not going to say yes. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not a yes person. Was I probably a pick-me-sha at some point? Yeah. But I can own that. I can own the fact that at some point I just really wanted that kind of like validation, and that's okay. I lived that part of my life, and then that is just being human, like, and a lot of people will try to like villainize the fact that you are human and you're allowed to make mistakes and you're allowed to grow within yourself. So I used to dissociate, fall asleep. I would always, sometimes I would overstep by accident. So I would keep talking about myself because at the time I didn't know the concept of, I didn't understand that people sometimes wanted to be heard, and so they also didn't take the initiative to be like, hey, like, I would appreciate if we, it's insane because like I never meant to come off that way. It was just like ingrained in me that I just wanted someone to hear me out, and in that I ended up not hearing other people out, and for that I'm always going to be very sorry, because I feel like had I learned those things as a child, because I wasn't heard when I was little, and we were shut down. So I just wanted to be heard. So I would overspeak, or I would give advice that was unsolicited unsolicited advice. And I learned that some people don't want your advice, and I'm learning even now that I need to like be mindful with what I say, and there's a time and place for what I say. And although I really want to be there for people, some people have their own journeys, and not everybody needs your advice. I understand. I'm really glad I'm there, and I also try to be very mindful of like just coming from a place of understanding that not everyone is you. Not everyone has experienced the same things as you, and I understand that to some people that's like, hello Sandra, duh, like that's so obvious, how do you not know that? But like, it isn't so obvious, because you are only perceiving what you've lived. So like, if you have the mindset of like, this person should understand where I'm coming from because I love them, and why are they not understanding me? And you live like that without someone actually showing you a different perspective or a different side of things, you're never gonna know. Like, you're never gonna understand that. So a lot of the habits that I had, like talking too much, or even I betrayed some friends not knowing, like it was unintentional, and I did have conversations with them later on, and I was like, I am so sorry, that was not coming from a place of wanting to cause malice or hurt. I genuinely just was so scared of confrontation, so scared of speaking up, because what if I speak up and somebody, like, I don't know, punches me? What if I speak up and someone leaves me? Again, going back to my first video, which was about abandonment, like, I didn't know how to use my voice. This is legitimately at the age of 29 the first time that I'm using my voice properly, and I feel like I'm a very polarizing person, which means some people will understand me and some people won't. So I feel like a lot of the time in my life, I reflected back certain things to people, and they were not ready to hear that, or they were not in a place to hear that, and I would tell them anyways, and they didn't like it. And I'm sure people told me things that I didn't like either. And for a while, I was very scared of just talking about it, because I was like, oh my God, what are people going to think? Because people don't, like, there's been people that really enjoy being around me, and there's people that don't. And then I was like, what does it matter? You know, like, there's no point of holding on to the fact that, like, that just being liked, being a yes girl, not speaking up. I'm so happy that I speak up now. And yeah, so let's see, what else was I wrote a bunch of things down. So I ended up doing Reiki, which helped with my throat chakra, and for a while my heart chakra was closed too. And what Reiki is basically like, they work with energy healing. It's like a Japanese type medicine, and someone will literally scan your body and then check certain points of your body, whether it's physical pain, energetic pain, and they will heal you, and slowly you see certain things happening. And so I've been taking time to do my Reiki sessions. And I used to also not tell people my likes. So I used to hide myself, like my true personality, and like dim my light, because I felt like people weren't going to get it. And I remember, so for you guys that don't really know me that well, I do Reiki. I do tarot readings. And I love manifesting. Like, manifestation, it's just so amazing to me. And before TikTok times, I used to have friends and they thought it was weird and they didn't really understand it and thought it was like woo woo, you know, like they were like, oh, I don't want to, like, don't talk about it. And like, I always felt like if I can't talk about me, if I can't show you that side of me, that means I'm dimming my personality. Like, and I also wanted to feel celebrated, you know, like I wanted my friends to be supportive of that. And what I noticed now, back then, like, people are allowed not to like the same things, but also I was really around people that were not similar to me. Like, they were into different things. So I repeated that cycle for so long of just, why aren't people supportive of me? And that wasn't even like what I should have been looking at. I should have been really focusing on the fact that, who am I choosing to be in my life? And do their values align? Do their likes align? Does their mentality? Because I also had people that were very like, I'm a workaholic, and I wasn't able to talk to anyone about work because a lot of them didn't like working. And I get that. I get the whole like not wanting to work. Like, sometimes I don't want to work and I call off. But I love working, and I love talking about leveling up, and I love talking about, hey, let me fix your resume. Hey, what can we do to get interviews in? And like, let's talk about what's going on in the company. Or, you know, I want to be a business girl. So for a long time in my friendships, I didn't have people that liked doing that. And that was a big thing in my life. And so there was just so many things that I let go and I let slide out of the fact that I wanted to have these friendships, because I didn't want to be alone. And so when I was dimming my light with my tarot and my manifestation, I don't know, it kind of shut me down a lot. And I thought there was something wrong with me for a while, because I was like, I don't know any other people that do this, and like, how am I into this and no one else can relate? And as time went on, I realized I was actually helping people with their problems. So like, for me, tarot is just about helping others with guidance and truly giving them a message where it will help them to guide them to a solution in their life. And it's always going to come from like a positive place. Like, it's always going to come from a very like high place in my life. Like, I just want to be able to send that love back to people. And for me, I find joy in helping others. And I have done readings where people are like, this one girl was from Chicago and she was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I've had people from like where I live, and they were like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I recently had one of my friends, and she was like, by the way, the reading you did a few years ago, like, spot on. And also like, the advice just helps so many people. And I'm just like, you see, like, that's what lights me up. Like, I love just seeing people like come back and say, hey, you helped me and thank you so much. And not that I need to help everybody, like, not everyone is gonna resonate, but this is my passion. And I will be damned if I let myself, you know, like, I lose myself over what other people think now. Like, that's not gonna happen. And I don't think you should allow someone to dim your light. I think people are always allowed to like different things, but if you truly love what you're doing, why are you embarrassed to shine? Like, why are you embarrassed to put your things out there? If you feel like you're not good enough, you are. Like, you might not be, because like, you don't know. So when people don't know things, when you're not knowledgeable of something, right? For a long time, I didn't know what tarot was. And I'm doing a YouTube video right now, and I was just like, how do you edit? How do you do YouTube? Like, am I gonna say the right things? Am I gonna say the wrong things? Like, are people going to resonate? I was like, I'm not gonna put myself out there because it's too scary. And really the point of this is being authentic, right? So authenticity is scary. It is scary to do. It's scary to be yourself. It's scary to put yourself out there. But at the end of the day, like I said, like, would you rather put yourself out there and be happy? Or do you want to live a life where you regret having not done what you wanted to do, right? And I want to live a life where at the end of my life, when I reach hopefully my late life, but even if I were to knock on everything, but like if something were to happen to me and let's say like I pass early on, right? I'm never going to say I didn't live a good life. I feel like I've lived such a good life just because I've learned my lessons and I've grown from what I've lived. And I just can appreciate everything around me now. So I'm just like, heck yeah, like I've lived such a good life that I just don't even have to worry about the next day. Cause I'm like right now, I'm like still like just appreciative of what I'm doing, and you don't even have to think that far ahead because I'm just so happy. But yeah, like if you want to put yourself out there, if you think you're not good enough, and if you truly think people are not gonna resonate with you, there's people that are gonna understand because they're going to be in the same mindset as you. There's people that do the same niches. You have so much potential to just be expansive and be able to bring something positive to the world. And like, why would you hold yourself back from doing that? Like, and there's another thing that often people feel like they're not good enough because they don't get the education for it. YouTube is free. I literally YouTube everything. TikTok is free. TikTok allows you to search anything up. People are making videos of everything. If you want to go code, there's like Coding for Dummies or anything for dummies. I'm just saying that book because I actually bought that book. Coding for Dummies, but I bought it at Barnes and Nobles. And if you truly want to do something, all you have to do is take the time. Don't procrastinate. Oh, another thing that I used to do, I used to bed rot. I used to procrastinate. I used to sit in my woe is me vibe. Like, why is things not working out for me? Why am I in debt? I got out of debt. I was in debt for a very long time. And I paid it off in a year and a half after I changed my mindset. I was like, I don't want to live like this anymore. And I completely paid off everything. I mean, right now I owe like student loan debt because I just graduated. But yeah, at the time I was bed rotting. I was like miserable, saying like, why are these things happening to me? But I'm not doing anything about it, right? Like, you really have to take accountability. Go into your journal. Write down, what are 10 things I can do this year to better myself? What are 10 things I can do this year to start small? Changes add up after a while. So even right now, right, this is my second YouTube video. It might not reach that many people, and I am okay with that. But eventually, over time, the viewers will trickle down and it will reach the people that needs to be reached, right? So I just feel like you just have to really make a plan. Decide, hey, I'm not going to let my past get to me. This will work. It's going to be hard work. It's going to be a lot of fixing things of how you used to be, negative habits. Maybe you're not on top of your work. Maybe you want a promotion, and how do I get there? Well, the solution is you have to figure it out. You have to do the work. You can't just sit there and expect things to happen for you because, oh, well, I don't feel like it. But at the same time, you're stuck wondering why it's not happening. Unfortunately, in life, you have to do the work. Like, that's the only way you're going to move up in life. So for example, the promotion thing. So I want to get a promotion. So what am I going to do? Maybe make a LinkedIn, right? Connect with people, start talking. It might not even be a promotional thing within your job. You could just want a new job. Start contacting people, like start reaching out, send a message and say, hi, this is actually like what I'm doing now. Like for my next job, I actually want to understand what you do in your position. Can you please give me feedback on what you do in your role? Perfect. Do you think people are ever going to say no to talking about themselves? Truly? Like, do you feel like people are going to say no? No, girl, they're going to want to talk about themselves. They're going to be like, sure, like, I would love to talk about all my accomplishments. I would love to give you advice because people love talking about themselves. Like, truly. If people come to me, I'm going to give them advice and be like, yes, girl, like, period, like, whatever. But yeah, so going to make a LinkedIn and then fixing your resume. If you're in college, they have workshops, writing workshops that are free, or the writing center where you can have them fix your resume for free. If you don't have, let's see, resources like college or anything like that, you can always go to the library. People are willing to always help you out. Reach out to a friend. Community is so important. You wouldn't know what people actually know until you ask. And that's a big thing. I didn't ask people for help. I didn't ask them for guidance because I assumed, I don't know, like a lot of assumptions. I just made a million assumptions that I was just in my head. You know, when someone's in their head a lot, like, it's very hard to get out of that mindset of seeing everything just bigger than what it is. But yeah, going back to it, authenticity is like the scariest thing that I've ever had to do, like being seen, being heard. Do I want to put this out there? But truly, like, I'm telling you guys, like, I don't care. I am so happy with where I'm at that I just know that this is going to just always be something that I'm so sure about. And maybe it is scary, and maybe it is new, and maybe I'm not gonna say the right things for everybody, but what is it worth if I'm not trying? Like, what is it worth? What is my life worth if I'm not trying in the areas that I want to actually thrive in and achieve? And maybe I won't see changes today, and maybe I won't see changes tomorrow, but I know that I've made changes and they have completely changed my personality, completely changed my work ethic, completely changed my habits. Like, now I can gladly say, one, I'm not boy crazy and I have to make a YouTube video for that. Two, I am a workaholic. One thing I could not say that 5 years ago. I used to be a zombie in front of my desk and say, oh my God, this work is so hard. And now I'm just there like, yes, like, you know, like, I know people need me. I know that this job needs me, and I am worthy enough to get a raise. I am worthy enough to do these things, right? And my boss sees that. And also, just like in general, the way that I am is so much lighter and so much coming from an understanding place and empathetic place for others. And I'm not perfect by any means, because I'm never going to be perfect. I am human too. I make mistakes. I've made them in the past, but that is the beauty about living. You could always change your way of being, and hopefully that's for the better. But I think, yeah, I hope that you guys take the time to truly just change something small for you, not for someone else. Change something small for you and not someone else. And evaluate the kind of people that you want to have around you. Evaluate the things around you. Evaluate the situations around you. Say, hey, maybe this is not a good thing for me right now. Doesn't mean that these things are not going to come back around. Doesn't mean these people are not going to come back around and that things can't get better. Things will always get better. But things can be hard when you're trying to make changes, and that's normal. That's okay. So yeah, if you resonate with this video, please subscribe, give a thumbs up, put your experience in the comments and tell me of maybe how you resonated, whether that's finances, whether that's, maybe I'll make a YouTube video on how I got out of debt, because I know that's a lot, like a lot of people are dealing with the struggle of the economy right now. Leave a comment about how you felt like you've changed your habits, or maybe you want to change your habits. You know, like, have you also left friendship groups, and how do you feel now that you left them, and how do you feel if you want them, maybe you want them back, like, who knows? Or maybe you grew out of that, and that's okay too. Okay, so like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.